Welcome to our show, The Modi Briefing. I'm your host, Liang Jun. Today, we have some exciting updates to share with you. First up, concerns are mounting as India replaces its colonial-era laws with new criminal codes. These changes aim to modernize the justice system but have critics worried about potential disruptions and lack of parliamentary discussion. The new laws include the replacement of the sedition law and the decriminalization of sodomy. But the rollout has sparked significant debate. Next, dive into the foreign policy landscape. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's third term is unlikely to bring major shifts in India's foreign policy. Relations with the United States are expected to remain strong, with defense ties deepening and India continuing to be seen as a strategic counterbalance to China. However, domestic policy changes, like labor law reform, might face delays, potentially frustrating foreign investors. Lastly, the diplomatic ties between India and the Maldives are warming up again. The presence of Maldives President Mohamed Musa at Modi's inauguration dinner signals renewed engagement. This comes after a diplomatic role last year, and it appears that Modi's re-election has reassured the Maldives of India's commitment as a regional security provider. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage on these stories. Al Jazeera India has recently replaced its colonial-era criminal laws with new legislation, a move that has sparked significant debate and concern among opposition parties and legal experts. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government claims that the new laws will make the justice system more equitable. The Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023 replaces the Indian Penal Code of 1860, while the Bharatiya Acha Adhiniyam 2023 and the Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Sanhita 2023 replaced the Indian Evidence Act of 1872 and the Code of Criminal Procedure of 1973. Among the notable changes are the strengthening of sexual assault laws and the removal of the sodomy law, while the sedition law has been replaced. However, critics argue that these changes could lead to confusion and slow down the already sluggish justice system. The new laws allow police to hold suspects for longer periods and grant them more power, which some legal experts believe undermines judicial authority. Despite the government's assurances, Chidambrahma have voiced concerns that the new laws were passed without adequate parliamentary debate and could disrupt the administration of criminal justice. Foreign policy: India's recent general elections saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bharatiya Janata Party BJP return for a third term, although this time they must rely on coalition partners. Despite the coalition, Modi's foreign policy is expected to remain consistent. Domestic issues dominated the election, but Modi used international engagement to bolster nationalist sentiments. India's presidency of the G20 in 2023 was a platform to showcase Modi's influence. Critics from Western nations have expressed concerns about India's democratic erosion, but Indian officials have dismissed these as resentment of India's rise. The election results have somewhat alleviated concerns about India's democratic decline, as the Election Commission was deemed effective. Key ministers in Modi's government, including Amit Shah and Jaishankar, will continue in their roles, ensuring continuity in foreign policy. India is expected to maintain a close watch on China and reassess its partnership with Russia if necessary. Relations with the U.S. will likely remain strong, with continued defense cooperation. However, Modi's coalition government may face challenges in implementing domestic reforms, such as labor law and nuclear liability law changes, which could impact foreign investment. Diplomat at his inauguration dinner, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was flanked by Maldives President Mohamed Musa, signaling a renewed engagement between the two nations. Modi's third-term coalition could bring a more balanced approach to domestic and foreign policy. The Maldives under Musa has been trying to navigate the great power competition between India and China. Initial tensions arose when Musa withdrew Indian troops from the Maldives, but relations have since improved. Bilateral talks have been enhanced, with both the nations focusing on security and development cooperation. The Maldives continues to rely on India for regional security, participating in initiatives like the SAGR Doctrine and the Dasi Maritime Exercise. The continuity of Modi's government is seen as a validation of existing agreements, with the Maldives benefiting from India's development projects. Looking ahead, the Maldives may strengthen partnerships with other countries, including China, while maintaining its strategic relationship with India. Regional security will remain a priority, with the Maldives likely to engage further in initiatives like the Colombo Security Conclave and the Indian Ocean Rim Association. South China Morning Post in a series of insightful articles. The South China Morning Post delves into the intricate and often tense dynamics of U.S.-China relations. Analysts suggest that diffusing the escalating tensions between the two superpowers is fraught with challenges, with many experts believing that conflict could be more likely than peaceful coexistence. Despite the subdued performances in the U.S. presidential debates, Chinese diplomacy experts predict that regardless of who wins, the harmful competition with China will persist. Meanwhile, India Prime Minister Narendra Modi's meeting with U.S. lawmakers, following their audience with the Dalai Lama, signals India's growing willingness to pressure China on sensitive issues like Tibet and Taiwan. A knife attack on American instructors in Jilin Park has also strained relations, with a U.S. envoy expressing deep anger and concern. Additionally, the Pentagon's alleged secret campaign to discredit Chinese vaccines and the alarm raised by U.S. lawmakers over China's multi-trillion-dollar time bomb further highlight the complexities of this geopolitical rivalry. Amidst these tensions, the rare transfer of two giant pandas from China to the U.S. brings a moment of soft diplomacy, reminding both nations of their intertwined destinies. Yahoo U.S. in a dramatic showdown in the Indian parliament. Rahul Gandhi, leader of the opposition, accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bharatiya Janata Party BJP of spreading violence and hate under the guise of religious ideals. Gandhi's fiery speech, a formal response to the president's address, highlighted the opposition's growing strength after nearly doubling its seats in the lower house. He criticized Modi for promoting divisive policies and favoring billionaires over ordinary citizens, particularly lambasting the government's failure to create jobs and its indulgence in crony capitalism. Modi's BJP, having lost its majority, now leads a coalition government, facing a rejuvenated opposition focused on job creation and improving the welfare of lower caste Indians. Gandhi's accusations of corruption and the mishandling of policy decisions underscore the deepening political rift, as the opposition flexes its muscles in a parliament that has long been dominated by the BJP. This political turbulence reflects the broader societal challenges and discontent simmering in India, as the nation grapples with issues of economic inequality and governance. The diplomat advocated Sri Lanka and India are deepening their defense cooperation, a move that highlights India's strategic intent to bolster its influence in the Indian Ocean region amidst China's growing presence. India is offering specialized training and military aid to Sri Lanka, reminiscent of the U.S. has historical military aid programs to developing nations since the 1880s. Recently, India announced capacity-building training courses for Sri Lankan officers at top Indian defense institutions, covering areas like crime scene investigation, AI inside breakware, and VIP security. Over 130 Sri Lankan police officers will benefit from this training in 2024, with 23 senior officers already in New Delhi for a counter-terrorism program. India funds these courses under its Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation (ITEC) and Aid to Sri Lanka programs. Additionally, the Indian Coast Guard ship Sashi delivered $1.2 million worth of spare parts to the Sri Lanka Coast Guard ship Suraksha, marking a formal handover ceremony attended by high-ranking officials from both nations. This growing defense relationship is partly due to Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe's his pro-India stance, which has led to significant economic and political ties, including renewable energy projects by India's Adani Group and plans for Sri Lankan airport management by Indian companies. While this cooperation strengthens bilateral ties, it also raises concerns about Sri Lanka's increasing dependence on Indian military support, which could shift its internal dynamics and foreign policy orientations. This scenario mirrors the U.S. as historical use of military aid to influence partner nations, suggesting that India, as a regional power, Sri Lanka must carefully assess its defense cooperation policies to avoid overdependence and maintain balanced foreign relations. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 60O team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 60O Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals as learned scholars and accomplished scientists, the 60O team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 60O Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 60brief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 60O Brief via email.